Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in the world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayer's Live. Today we are going to continue with our page by page reading and commentary of the Bible, Modern English Version. And today we are going to go into Exodus 16. Exodus 16. I hope all of you out there are having a really good weekend. I most definitely am. This weekend, I caught up on sleep. I am feeling recharged, energetic. Um, After today's reading, I have some work to do, so I'll be getting that done. Maybe later tonight, I'll get in a small workout because I have been slacking on my exercise a bit lately, but I have been doing a lot of cerebral work also. So, there's always a balance to life. And hello, Gary. Gary has become a regular in here, which is great. And yes, happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter. So here we go. Exodus 16. Bread and quail. Then they set out from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month of their departing out of the land of Egypt. So at this point, the children of Israel, the Hebrews, who have been enslaved by the Egyptians for a long time, they are free. They're not sure where they're going just yet. They kind of know, but they're walking around. But what's most important is that they did free themselves from their oppressors. The whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. Now the children of Israel said to them, "Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat, when we ate bread to the full. For you have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." So even though they're free, they're kind of ungrateful. And maybe their complaints are justified because keep in mind, when they were in slavery or in bondage in Egypt, they were fed, they were taken care of, their basic needs were taken care of, but they were not able to exercise their own free will. And their religion, their faith, their belief system was looked down upon by their oppressors. So they did have their needs met, but they weren't complete as humans. I believe in order to be a complete human being, you have to have the ability to exercise your free will. So now they're out there in the wilderness, in the wild. It probably was wild to them, being that they'd been in what was considered civilization back then for the majority of their lives. But they have to fend for themselves. There probably are like, animals and whatnot out there, but they have to go out there and hunt them. These are city people who now have to learn how to become country folk, essentially. That's a big part of what this is. Okay. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Indeed, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain amount every day, that I may test them, whether they will walk in my law or not. And it shall come to pass that on the sixth day they shall prepare what they bring in, and it will be twice as much as they gather daily." So this is interesting, and a lot of people who look at the technicalities of the Bible, they do wonder like, what was this quote unquote bread from heaven that was rained down upon them? Because for some reason they weren't able to find food, or they didn't know how. So God provided food for them basically from the sky. It's an interesting um, phenomenon. And hello, Brian. How are you doing? I'm actually not sure how long they wandered. which is why I'm doing the page by page reading of the Bible, because I'm pretty sure that the Bible will tell us how long they were out there, because it would have been multiple generations if it was 400 years. So Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, "At evening you shall know that the Lord has brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of Lord, because he hears your murmurings against the Lord. And what are we that you murmur against us?" Then Moses said, "This will happen when the Lord gives you meat to eat in the evening and bread in the morning to satisfy. For the Lord hears your murmurings, which you murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord." Murmurings. Interesting word. They're using the word murmurings in the modern English version of the Bible. In other words, they're complaining. They're complaining. They're complaining. They're very upset because they don't have enough food, or they don't know how to get enough food yet. It's one of the two. I'm pretty sure in the wilderness there would have been some food out there, things for them to eat. I'm pretty sure, but maybe I'm wrong. Then Moses said to Aaron, "Say to all the congregation of the children of Israel, 'Come near before the Lord, for he has heard your murmurings.'" So as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the children of Israel, they looked toward the wilderness, and indeed, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. So this cloud that's been protecting them and guiding them all this time appears again. Question: was it actually a spaceship? Ancient astronaut theories do discuss that. Ancient astronaut theorists. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, 'In the evening you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God.'" So in the evening, the quail came up and covered the camp, and in the morning, a layer of dew was surrounding the camp. When the layer of dew evaporated on the surface of the wilderness, there lay a small flaky thing, as fine as the frost on the ground. When the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, "What is this?" For they did not know what it was. Then Moses said to them, "This is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Every man is to gather of it according to what he will eat, an omer for every man, according to the number of your people. Every man should take for them whoever lives in his tent." So the small flaky thing, I wonder what it was. Was it a biscuit? So quail is appearing out of nowhere, and some sort of bread is appearing for them. And the complainers of Israel are like, "What's this? What's this?" It's food for you because you've been complaining because you're so hungry. Gary says that they think that the wandering was for 40 years. We'll look it up at the end of this chapter. We will look it up. But how long was the enslavement? We will look that up too. We'll figure it out. All right, where are we? And Moses said to them, "This is the bread which the Lord has given to you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Every man is to gather of it according to what he will eat, an omer for every man, according to the number of your people. Every man should take for them for whoever lives in his tent." So the men have to gather up the bread, probably the women sometimes too, for whoever, is in their family. The children of Israel did so and gathered some more, some less. When they measured it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing left over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to what he could eat. Moses said to them, "Let no man leave any of it until the morning." However, they did not listen to Moses, and some of them left part of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was angry with them. See, some of these people, after all these plagues and miracles, getting to walk through the red, getting to walk through that sea, the parting of the Red Sea, they're still kind of disobedient, a little bit bratty even, almost as though they've been spoiled to a degree by the Egyptians, and they probably were. And you know what? When you think about it, we are going to look up exactly how long God had this group of people separated from the Egyptians, because he did have to teach them um, basically how to live again. He had to teach these people, what's the word I want? Proper ritual, daily ritual, not to be greedy, not to be ungrateful, probably how to hunt and farm, and not be dependent, and not have the behaviors that the Egyptians had, which, according to God, just wasn't good. All right. So they gathered it every morning, every man according to what he could eat. And when the sun got hot, it melted. Now, on the sixth day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers per man. And then all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses. He said to them, "This is what the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the Sabbath, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake which you will bake today, and boil that you will boil, and all that which remains overlay up for yourselves to be kept until the morning." So they laid it up until the morning, just as Moses commanded. And it did not stink, nor was there any worm in it. Moses said, "Eat it today, for today is the Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh day, the Sabbath, there will be none." So God's got the people on a schedule now. It happened that some of the people went out on the seventh day to gather, but they found nothing. Again, they didn't listen. Then the Lord said to Moses, "How long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my instructions? See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore, he gives you bread for 2 days. On the sixth day, every man remain in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day." So the people rested on the seventh day. And, this whole, 6 days, 7 days, this goes back to Genesis. God is putting the people basically on his schedule. After God created the world, according to God's schedule, God's time frame, it took him 6 days to do. On the seventh day, he rested. He wants everyone to rest on the seventh day, on the Sabbath day. Maybe that's why I got such good sleep today. The house of Israel named it manna, and it was like coriander seed, and it was white, and its taste was like wafers made with honey. Then Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations to come, so that they may see the bread that I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt." Moses said to Aaron, "Take a pot and put an omer full of manna in it, and place it before the Lord, to be kept for generations to come, a memento." As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept. The children of Israel ate manna 40 years, until they came to an inhabited land. They ate the manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. Now, an omer is 1/10 of an ephah, or an ephah. So you got your answer, Gary. They were out there for 40 years. 40 years. So Not a generation, but long enough for them to get it together, in my opinion. It was 40 years. Exodus 16 tells you exactly how long they were out there at the very end. So let's find out how long they were enslaved in Egypt. Just give me one moment and I will Google that for you. Because maybe it was 400 years. I'm really not sure. I think that one of the earlier chapters mentioned 400 years. Let's see. Okay. 400 years. Yep. According to scripture, the Israelites were slaves in Egypt for 400 years. Let's see. Yep. Some people argue 430 years, but conventional knowledge says 400 years. Let's see if there's any other information. Yeah, for the most part, the agreed upon number is 400 years. Yeah, you can go back. There's a playlist. There's a playlist on this channel for the Bible reading, and I add to it every day. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for listening. And tomorrow we will go into Exodus 17 and see what happens from there. So, everyone, have a great day. Happy Easter, and take care. Bye bye. Talk to you tomorrow.